Hey guys, welcome again. We're into Mark 10 and we're talking about Jesus and this discussion that he was having with his disciples about what true leadership looked like. We spoke yesterday about positional leadership and positional power or positional authority. If you lose the position, you lose the power and your authority is gone. A servant can never go any lower than he already is. And a servant leadership position is a phenomenal platform from which to perform your leadership function. Jesus affirms this by himself, the King of Kings, the Son of God, becoming the Son of Man, still the Son of God, but the most humble position to be a servant in this world. What a great example that is to us. I want to share with you another thought today. And there are certain things in servant leadership or in any leadership that would appear to be more important than others. I want to suggest to you today that your preference is not as important as the principle. Now let's talk about preferences first of all. Many people who lead from a positional power base say my preference goes. If I want the kitchen to be painted blue, you paint it blue. But if that's all he has to operate from, he's on thin ice. Whereas people who will deliberate and say, well, I'd rather have it pink or I'd rather have it yellow, have no say in the matter. And the net result is incredible conflict. Now, I've been in the church for a good while. And I got to tell you, I have seen many church experiences beautifully, not so much in the church I'm in right now. But I've been in churches where there have been so much, it has been just so much conflict. And when you look at what the conflict is over, it's generally issues of preference. I want it pink, you want it blue. And I'm saying, who cares? Who cares? I want the flowers there. No, you want them there. Who the heck cares? I want the organ there. No, we want to put it there. And we have so many discussions and waste so much time about sweating the small stuff because we're so hung up on our own personal preferences. Well, there is something bigger than preferences, and that is principles. If you want to argue or debate or stand your ground over something, then stand on a principle, because a principle trumps preference every time. And when we look at principles, you've got to ask yourself, well, where do I find principles? Well, I want to tell you, the Word of God is full of great principles. If you want to stand on a principle, you better have a Bible verse to back your principle. In fact, let me clarify that more. You better have a Bible verse that is well interpreted, because you can make a Bible verse say anything that you wanted to say if you wanted to say that. And so we've got to have a Bible verse that substantiates a principle, and the Bible verse has got to be legitimate, it's got to be well explained in order for that principle to stand over the issues of preference. Don't fight people over issues of preference, because everybody's got a different one. And if you make that stand of your way or the highway, you're going to be riddled with conflict, and it's a miserable place, especially for a church or a family to be in. Find yourself a good principle, but here's the best principle of all. Jesus says that you can do all of these other things, but if there is not love, then all those other things, as right as you may be, you are wrong. And sometimes you can be so right that you can be wrong if it's not done in love. Love is the overwhelming. Love is the overriding principle. And servant leaders know how to love people and say, I will happily bow to your preference so that you can have the kitchen the color that you want it. My preference doesn't really mean much, because my principle is based upon the greatest principle of all, of love your neighbor as you love yourself. Man, think about that today. Think of sometimes the issues of conflict that you may have gone through in the past, and you begin to realize, man, didn't we sweat that small stuff and embarrass ourselves as some of the stupid things that we have argued over? If you're going to stand your ground, find a good biblical, well-explained biblical principle, and you'll probably be safe. All in love, all people in love. Because you can have the principle and have no love, your principle means nothing. Think about that today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.